let's get on to some NFL topics here. The Titans traded for Julio fucking Jones.
Bro, the Titans hit a fucking lick, man. And honestly, all right.
What did they trade him for, Gifton? Do you know?
2 second-round picks?
A second-round pick and a fourth-round pick.
And a fourth.
They received,
Bro, a second and a fourth for Julio.
They received Julio Jones and a sixth-round pick. The Titans did.
For Julio.
For Julio Jones.
Bro, they robbed the Falcons. They robbed the Falcons in broad daylight, bro, and nobody gave. Like, bro, think about it. You could have got so much more out of Kansas City because of all the first round picks that they have, but nah. I mean, my guess is that they traded him to pick up because Tennessee is willing to pick up the contract. Is that my guess? Yes, no.
Yeah, no. They took it all on. They took it all on.
Then.
Like I guess the Patriots were in talks with them, and then they were talking about contracts and how much they were gonna have to pay and stuff.
Right.
And then Tennessee was like, Tennessee. The Falcons were like, no, we don't want to pay anything. And the Patriots were like, it's off the table. Then I don't want to do any of that. But yeah, the Falcons basically just said, to this guy Julio Jones, really easy. Here's the thing: they're on a separate wavelength than Julio Jones is.
Yep.
Unlike basketball. Football, they all kind of have to be on the same age bracket, it feels like. You got to add a couple of young studs in there, but usually it's like a veteran team and they're all on the same stuff. So, Julio Jones gets traded to the Titans. Man, you have A.J. Brown.
Yep.
You have Julio Jones, right?
Yep.
Now, I know Julio Jones is way better than Corey Davis.
Yes.
But Julio Jones and Corey Davis had kind of similar numbers, even though I know Julio Jones was out. I'm just saying per pass attempt, different things. He's going to play the same role, but just be definitely better. Now, what does that ultimately mean for an offense that's run first, though?
They got the best of both worlds. Think
about it. I get it.
Oh, okay.
In theory, you're right.
Right.
In theory, you're right. But your best weapon is Derrick Henry, and then you're kind of getting away from that. But not even necessarily getting away from it. You can also say, Julio, you can actually pass it to him instead, or they're going to focus on Derrick Henry. Like, it's going to alleviate both ways. It's a mutual type of thing. I'm just kind of thinking, how much of more of a difference does Julio Jones, who's not only injury prone, but also hardly gets any touchdowns because he's very yard driven.
Yep.
I get a lot of yards. I get a lot of not necessarily even receptions, especially from Matt Ryan, which is weird because maybe he's getting double covered. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't have the touchdown production. He definitely does have the yardage, right? So with A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, the offensive line they have, Ryan Tannehill at the helm. I'm a fan of Ryan Tannehill and how he's able to just produce, be the guy at the helm, game manage the whole thing, right? I just don't know how to feel about this trade. I get it. It's Julio. But
you don't think they're going to mesh well?
No, I think it's going to be a good fit.
Then what
because you lost Corey Davis and you replaced him with Julio, right?
Right.
So it's an even kill switch and it's definitely an upgrade.
Okay.
So nothing really is going. I don't think it's always going up, right?
Agreed.
I just don't see it being
Super
crazy, overwhelming.
Okay.
That's just me. Their defense was a really bad defense last year,
right?
Coming off of a year that was actually good defensively. So, defense was championships in football. Everybody has a really great offense in football. He's not the one passing it to himself. It's Ryan Tannehill.
Right.
So, yes, the Titans did as much, and yes, it was a great deal. I just personally don't think that this makes them an instant Super Bowl contender or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You get me? Because I know they're a contender already and everything, and Julio Jones is bringing you over the edge, but it's Ryan Tannehill that's giving him the ball. How dynamic will that relationship be? How dynamic will this offense be when Corey Davis got big money? Corey Davis was a good talent.
Right.
What if Corey Davis opened it up for A.J. Brown?
Right.
What if Corey Davis opened it up for, Derrick Henry? So overall, we'll see what happens. I'm really excited for Julio Jones. I hope that he is great, and I hope that he's healthy the whole time because they can have a really great season.
Yeah, I think that's probably like my biggest concern is Julio Jones' health because it's like we know Julio Jones is a phenomenal receiver. It's just his health because how many games did he miss last season? 7. He missed 7 games last season. Now, granted, it was on the Falcons, so it's like who the fuck cares? But it's when you go to a team like Tennessee, who's like on the cusp of breaking into deep playoff runs, it's very important that you got to stay healthy all season. So
Yeah.
that's definitely my concern. How I think it'll fit, I think, like you said earlier, it's going to be the best of both worlds. They're definitely going to abuse the hell out of both of it because they can run and throw. Just got to hope for the best with these guys, really.
I just think it's funny, like, why not make what we do better just even more great,
Right.
or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And they do that. I'm just saying, like, how much better can you get off of just one player like that?
No, you have.
I understand it's passing.
You have a great point.
I understand. It's just I just don't see where, like, I feel like their defense was their really, like, weak link. So
yeah,
basically they're just kind of thinking we just need to overwhelm them with offense.